So let's continue with very advanced InDesign techniques. I'm not sure if they're all very advanced, but yeah, it's a name. Okay, in the first part, we designed this grid. Aku, I don't think you were here, but we ended up with this grid that is like 8 columns, but then the columns are subdivided into two. You can watch. You can watch.
Just that.
Yeah, you can watch the. You can watch the video later. But basically, we've got a couple of spreads that are some sort of okay, but we haven't got basically any styles yet. Um, and so we've got like the grid, we've got something on the pages on the grid, but there are no styles. So what we're now doing is we're building the required paragraph and character styles. These can be changed later, but it's better to do the text import after you've got the styles already there. Then we'll do the text import like with the actual text, and I'll show you some steps that I do there in order to make it as like fluent or like flowy as possible. Um, and then and then continue like actually formatting the text from there. And then let's see if we've got time for footnotes and or bad breaks and finish language intricacies. So okay, so I'm gonna start with my body copy. So this is going to be my baseline body copy style. So I'm going to open paragraph styles. I've got it now as paragraph style 1, but maybe I can just change this. So I've always been taught that it's bad form to double click this style to open it, because then you might accidentally apply it to somewhere. So it's good form to always right or like option click or control click, right click and edit it. So let's walk through this paragraph style first and see what sort of stuff we can do here. And let's take this easy because this is like an important step, and it's worthwhile doing it well. So I'm gonna name this based on these values that I have here, so I remember what I have. So then this is Marist, and maybe I'm gonna call this Tiina, because I'm applying this style to whenever this Tiina person is responding.
These paragraphs are these are like saved templates that you can apply to text.
These are formatting combinations or formatting options that apply to entire paragraphs at a time. So you've got character styles that apply to characters within a paragraph, like a single word, for example. So for bold, italic, these sorts of things, you need character styles. For things that for style formatting options that apply to entire paragraphs, you need paragraph styles. So okay, here we've got all these basic character formats. I don't think I need to walk through this as much. There is one thing though that often people, if they want to condense or loosen up the text or the typesetting, they will add some tracking here. So like adding 10 or 15 or then tightening up by going minus. I prefer to do it elsewhere, because if I do it here, then because I've got this thing on this custom tracking and kerning on, everything that has a tracking that is not 0 will be highlighted. And I want to use the highlighting to my advantage later on. So I don't want to add anything here. If I want to track it negatively or positively, I do it in the justification letter spacing bit, but I'll walk you through it once we get to that tab. So now I have to do this again. 9.6 by 11.5, Marist Tiina. Okay. Advanced character formats, I want to change the language to Finnish, so it takes the hyphenation from the Finnish dictionary. Don't want to touch any of these for now. Indents and spacing, this is important. I want to align I want to align everything in the body copy to my grid. Here I want the 8 and the 8 because that's what I was after. Sometimes if you want to have like empty lines in between paragraphs, it's bad form to do this by like hitting return twice. It's better to put the value here. Like if I were to do that, I would put 11.5 points here, and then I would get this gap. I could also put this to hold on, this to 0, and then this to 11.5. This way, I would have no gap in between consecutive paragraphs of this style, but then have a gap whenever I'm moving to a different paragraph style. Sometimes that might be necessary, but for now, I'm just going to put ignore and 0 here.
Sorry,
yeah.
The space after was for the difference between those two.
So space between paragraphs using the same style, and space after is completely mechanical. So after each paragraph, there's this, but you can overwrite this value by putting something here in those special cases. Tabs. Okay, this is important. You can set the distance of your tab character. And now, because I've got this 16 column grid here with these 8mm increments, it makes sense for me to set my tab character as 8mm, right? So if I put 8 here and then repeat, then every time I hit tab on my keyboard, it will indent the text 8mm. So for example, now, like I can like look at me indenting this, it will always hit the. Isn't this nice? Mm. So that was tab. Paragraph rules, borders, and shading, they have to do with like how do you color, or like what sort of rules, lines do you have, or background coloring. I'm not going to touch them for now. They can be very useful in some instances where you want like a line above a paragraph, for example. Like I could try these paragraph rules with, maybe I'll give them a shot when I move on to formatting the questions, because maybe there the line would work with this really black sans serif. In the keep options, I want to keep my lines together at start and the end of a paragraph, 2 lines. So this is something that prevents some bad breaks from happening. So if you have like one line of a paragraph at the bottom of the page or the top of the page, this will get rid of it. For example, like subheadings, you want to use the keep with next option. Like if this were a subheading style, I would put like I would make this put like 3 here or something. So that means that when there's a subheading and then there's like body copy that follows the subheading, this number dictates how many lines of body copy have to be visible in order for the subheading to stay at the bottom of a page. So if it's 3 and there would be the subheading is coming at the bottom of a page and there's only 2 lines of body copy, then the subheading would automatically move to the top. But for now, let's not do anything. Hyphenation, big question. These are the InDesign defaults. For Finnish, I know Markus Itkonen, I think, says that you should have like 4-2-2 here or something like that. So there are several 4-syllable or 4-letter words with 2 syllables in Finnish that technically you are allowed to hyphenate, but I think still it's somehow bad form, or it's a bit icky to hyphenate auto, lasi. Like I don't like it. What I usually do here is I do 6 and 3, 3.
For Finnish.
Yes, for Finnish.
How for English?
Let's stick to Finnish for now. Uh, and then this hyphen limit is also important. So this hyphen limit dictates how many consecutive lines can end in a hyphen. If you put that to 0, it basically means infinite. So then you can have like I don't know, you could have 20 lines ending in a hyphen in a row. I know, for example, so if you're typesetting Finnish, in very narrow justified columns, like in a newspaper, often this is something that you have to do. I know Otto Donner, who designs like the Graphia magazine and designs lots of magazines, always keeps this at 0. It kind of bugs me personally if you have like 8 hyphens in a row. Like it makes for somehow like icky reading. But this has been a topic of Finnish language typesetting for at least 120 years now. Like I found a magazine from 1908 with like called Kirjapainotaito, and the editor of that magazine had published like rules for Finnish language typesetting, and then he started getting all these letters from readers saying like these are not feasible, and lots of the arguments had to do with how many lines, how many consecutive hyphens can you have. That in Swedish apparently the rule, at least in the early 20th century, was 3, and then in Russian it was I think 5, and I think somehow the nation building median was okay. Let's be somewhere in between. But I think if I'm not typesetting a very narrow column, I want to keep this at 2. Like 2 hyphens are fine in Finnish. 3 is I want to do better than 3. 3 is often fine, but I want to be slightly better.
Yeah, I have seen books which have maybe like 8 hyphens. Like
yeah, I don't like that. In English, I would put that as 1. This hyphenation zone thing, you can disregard this if you're using the Adobe Paragraph Composer. So if you're a very strict Swiss designer who is hand ragging everything, then it's better to use this hyphenation zone and then use the single line composer. But if we're, I don't know, normal, then the paragraph composer and the is better because it automates the process a bit better or a bit more, and then you can disregard this hyphenation zone. There's also a slider here that allows you to control between having fewer hyphens and better spacing. I usually just, I don't know, preview my, okay, I need to add the right indent, don't I? Yes. So I need 8
so with this
here.
paragraph style, you could hypothetically then just paste your, let's say, printing an entire book that had the same fonts that you could just paste it and it would handle everything.
Yes, that's the beauty of the text import thing. I'll show you how to do it in a bit. So, but this, I don't know, sometimes it's worth just dragging it around and seeing what looks good. Maybe this better spacing. Like, I don't know what you think. Is it better? Does the rag look better now or now?
again.
Yeah, I think this is almost, let's put it there. In Finnish also, I think in English you should maybe untick all of these. In Finnish, it's almost better to keep these ticked. One exception is hyphenating capitalized words, especially if you're typesetting a text with lots of names, where the names come from languages that are non-Finnish. Like if you have, I don't know, so there's lots of like names of authors in this text, like French and Spanish language authors. So then the hyphenation, if you have this ticked, they will be hyphenated, but based on the Finnish dictionary, which might prove like might be a bit inelegant. So sometimes I switch this off. The problem with switching this off is that then, like for example here, like in the beginning of a sentence, now this would normally be hyphenated, but if I untick this, then it won't hyphenate that, and the rag will look worse. So maybe I'm going to keep this ticked and handle the names in a different way. But so 6332 is basically the fundamental things I would use here for Finnish.
How about the last word hyphenation? Like, last word in a paragraph as just like a small.
I mean, yeah, you can keep this, but I mean, I'll get rid of them in other ways. So maybe for now, this will reduce the number of mistakes. But I don't even if you don't have a hyphenated last word, but you just have one word on the last line, it will look like shit, and you want to get rid of that. Okay, so
Realizing is it in other languages, but Because I see here, we have at least in German, there's the official German dictionary in there.
Oh, no, we don't have that in Finnish. But it has an inbuilt dictionary.
No, but it takes it also how the hyphenation works.
Well, you can change that here, but I'm not sure if we have time for that. But okay, for the justification. So the justification options usually pertain to situations where you have justified text, so text that is even on both sides. They can be used for other things as well. So if I were to make this, let's look at a normal situation first. So I'm gonna change this to left justify. Can you see all this yellow here? This yellow comes from the fact that under composition, I had this hyphenation and justification violations ticked. So if I untick this, the yellow will disappear. What the yellow signifies is that there's like bad justification in particular in lines with lots of yellow. So you can see here that the word space is massive and there's lots of yellow here. So when we can get rid of some of this yellow by fiddling around with the justification settings. So the first thing, there's three variables. There's word spacing. So how big are the word spaces, spacebar characters? How big is the letter spacing, or how much the letter spacing can vary? So white space in between individual glyphs. And the last one is glyph scaling. So do you give InDesign permission to squish and stretch glyphs in order to get better spacing?
With the character spacing, wouldn't that just override all the work you've done creating font?
Yes. So there's lots of opinions regarding this. So there's a desired column, so best case scenario, and then there's minimum and maximum, and those are the ends of the spectrum that you're giving InDesign permission to work with. So if we're talking about Finnish in this case, contemporary typefaces often have what I find is they have a very, very small word space because it looks nicer, especially in English if you have short words. So in Finnish, what I like to do is I like to bump up this minimum word spacing to at least 90. And often I want to bump up this desired word spacing to maybe 505 or something. Sometimes 110, sometimes, but it's depending on this is something that you have to figure out by eye. But often it looks good when it's like 105 or something like ever so slightly wider. This has also got to do with the fact that, Finnish has really long words, and then between long words you need some pauses. But if you're using another typeface, it's kind of all up in the air. This maximum, I don't know how okay, if I put it to 200, I can get rid of all the yellow, but if I make it smaller, nothing really changes. I just get more yellow. So this maximum is less important. Maybe we can put it to 140 now, but it's less important. But then what really, really affects this amount of yellow is these letter spacing and glyph scaling. So the way I've been taught in Finnish is that in Finnish you can do plus minus 2% in letter spacing. So these are, in the tracking, these are 1,000 of an M. And then here these are percentages. So if I put 1 here, it's the same as 10 in the tracking window. So if I'm going for a justified paragraph, then I've been told that this is like plus minus 2 is what you're allowed to do in Finnish before anyone notices anything. Often this works quite well. Like you saw how much yellow I got rid, compared this to this. So it's nicer. I think I'm gonna go with this. Then this glyph scaling, is like, for example, Jan Middendorp in Shaping Text, which is like my favorite basic level book on typography says that the idea of touching this is simply ludicrous. I'm gonna say that in Finnish, if you have to, you could do ±1, because like you got rid of it got rid of all the yellow stuff there, right? It's super somehow effective. Or then you could just do like that. You're not allowed to like 001. That could work as well. But don't use this unless you have to. In the letter spacing, so I was telling you earlier that I don't want to, if I want to track these out or track these tight or track this body copy in a different way, I don't like to add tracking to my paragraph style. I want to keep the tracking as an override for getting rid of those bad breaks. But what I can do is I can change this ±2 to a different spot on the kind of spectrum. So I could do here, like I could do 0, 2, and 4, right? So this having the desired as 2 is the same as having like 20 here. Do you understand? Do you know what I'm saying? So if I want to, let's say I would like my body copy to be slightly tracked out. I don't add tracking because that will add this green color, and I need to use the green color for other things. But then I would change these letter spacing values so that the desired is the same value as my desired tracking. So if I wanted to, yes. So I could also do this like -3, -1, and 1. So then this desired -1 is the same as having -10 here. But for now, I think I'm happy with this. But this also might be useful if you're doing like a very small size. So if you're doing like footnotes that are 7 points by 9, then in small point sizes you want to track things out. So it might be useful to add to have like 3 or 4 here in the desired for footnotes. But I'm not gonna justify this now. So I'm just gonna put it like this. So now I don't have any yellow. I don't have to worry about this. Okay. This span columns is actually very, very useful. I don't know if you've ever used span columns or split columns. So if I wanted to keep my body copy in a single text frame, but divide it into 2 paragraphs, 2 columns, sorry, 2 columns, I could do split column and then like I could do this. So I'm changing this. By default, it's single column, but if I change it to split column, it will divide it into 2 columns within the same text frame. I mean, I can do even 3 or 4, but it gets weird. But this is sometimes very useful in terms of keeping things within a single text frame and then still working quite like quickly with multiple columns. This is also a way, if you ever want to do this thing where you've got some text in 1 column and other text formats or other paragraph styles in 2 columns in between 1 column settings, you can do this easily. But I'm just going to keep this as a single column for now. Then I don't know if you've ever used drop caps and nested styles. Let's get rid of drop caps you don't want to do, like you want to make drop caps in another way. But these nested styles are really, really useful. So nested styles automatically apply a certain character style to the beginning of a paragraph style. Say that again. Nested styles automatically apply a character style of your choice to the beginning of your paragraph style. So for example, here in Tina, if I want to format this TL in a different way, automatically, I can create a new nested style. I could use this Ladna. Let's do a new character style. Ladna 845. Oh no, Ladna black 845. Ladna black 8.45. Okay, and then I can say through one word. If I put 4 here, it will make it through 4 words. I think now I'd like to do up to 1 tab character. So then it's always like up to the tab character, it will automatically apply this character style here. Then I have to figure out something else for these paragraphs. But for this, like now I don't have to manually format the TL every time. Okay, this greps, okay, who has used, let's put okay, and then I'm gonna quickly build a new style for these so I can get rid of this. Marist, Tiina, indent. So the second style I'm gonna call Tiina indent because it's like that's gonna be with a different kind of indent. It's gonna be like with an indent like that, and then I'm gonna get rid of this here. Yes. Okay. So okay, let's get rid of formatting this. And now I have the second style. Like I've marked these 2 paragraphs with the second style. They're identical, but this style doesn't have this nested style, and this style doesn't have the backdented. So like there's no minus here. This is just 8. So then it indents like that. But if I open this style, I see that this is based on the first style. So whenever I change the first style, the second style will change as well. Yeah. So now if I make modifications here, it will change the second style as well. So grep styles. So grep utilities, grep styles are styles. I think the best way to think about them is to think about like an ongoing search replace command that is running on the background all the time. So you can tell InDesign to search for certain types of text strings within your paragraph style and automatically format them in a certain way. So for example, if I wanted to change all the numbers here to Ladna, I could do new grep style and apply Ladna black to text. So the syntax here is a bit confusing. It's best to Google this syntax or to I don't know, use these what are these menus? Yeah. So to text, I could do wildcard any digit. So and then plus is any digit but more. So now it's searching. The grep style is searching the paragraph style for characters that are a single digit or any more digit or like or digits, basically numbers, and it's automatically applying this paragraph style or this character style, sorry, to those numbers. So whenever like this style looks perfectly normal, like this ABC Marist, but if I type in numbers, they will automatically come from Ladna. I can use this also in more inventive ways. So I can Google InDesign grep any punctuation, for example. So then there's this like wildcard that affects all the punctuation symbols. So I can open this. I can do new grep style to text punct, and then I'm why isn't the other bracket changing? That's weird. That's really weird. Why isn't the other? But you can see that like, oh, that's not changing as well. Why isn't that? Is there like an extra character there? Yes, there was an extra space bar. Okay, now it's retrieving all punctuation symbols from a different character style, from a different typeface. So sometimes I don't know, you can get like really weird looking stuff. Like if I do a weird typeface, let's change this to here. So then I get these like really funky commas. I'm not sure how much, like this also has the challenge of becoming a bit, I don't know, too clever for its own sake. But sometimes it's very useful, especially if you have lots of like, I don't know, if you want to make like automated weird combinations of things. I've also seen people use it in like amazing or like really, really annoyingly subtle ways of, like typesetting text where the body copy is Caslon, but then all the uppercase letters are from Garamond. Like nobody can tell, or like very few people can tell. But I don't know, some people like that stuff. What else? Okay, that was grep utilities. It's best to Google. But this grep is also very good for automatically applying, like, for example, small cap styles to, like, if you have a text with lots of abbreviations that are in uppercase, they can appear very shouty in the text. So if you set them as small caps, they'll shout less. So then what you can do here is you can do any combination of letters that's 2 or more uppercase characters in a straight line. Then you can do this, like do open type all small caps, optical, and maybe 75. So let's call this small caps. And then if I type in, I don't know, EU, you saw that the first E is like a normal E, but when I type in the second U, the second character, the U, it automatically changes into small caps. So I don't know if you've ever typesetting some UNFCCC climate policy stuff, very useful, or any EU related stuff, very useful. International relations, very useful.
German, very useful. They love the abbreviations.
Yeah, the worst abbreviations are the Finnish military ones, where you have like one uppercase character and then 2 lowercase and then an uppercase and 2 lowercase. Like I don't know how to do this. I did the non-military service. Okay. Do we have any other stuff in the? Well, under bulletin numbering, you can change what sort of symbols you're doing. Your lists will have, but that's not that important. Character color, I'm not gonna talk about now. Under open type features, you can change this to proportional old style, and you can do these stylistic sets from here if you want to change the A automatically. So that's sometimes a good shout. Now I did this, but because I had the grep style where it changes all the numbers to Ladna, then it doesn't really do anything. Underline options strike through, like we don't need to mind at the moment. But I think now this style is kind of done. Then what we're missing as well is we're missing some character styles for example, for these, because there was some italicized stuff. Ajattelen paljon kirjan muotoa, so all of these should be in italics. So let's build the italics. So I'm just going to change it. Maybe I'm going to change it to medium italic, so it has like a weight contrast and like a form contrast. So I just changed it there, and then I'm hitting the plus here to create a new style, and I'm calling it Marist Medium Italic. And then, I mean, I'm gonna get rid of this text in a bit, so I don't really need to, but I can sort of mark these like this as well. And then I think we had a bold as well. Yes. There's nothing bold in this paragraph, but let's try to. Okay, there's bold stuff here. Bertolt Brecht. But I think for this we could just use this Ladna. I don't think we need that. I think we have enough variables here already. But let's just see how it looks, because this will always kind of also like change the vibe. What's going on here? I don't even know. And then this style we still need to change. So this would be, now it's under here, but I'm going to create a new style and I'm going to call this 9 by 11.5 Ladna. What's the name of this? Is it Juho? Yes, Juho is the person interviewing. So it's Ladna black, yes, yes, yes. Finish. All these are inherited from the previous style, so I don't need to do that much. I want to get rid of this, and I want to get rid of these. Now maybe I'm going to keep the punctuation, but this I can get rid of, and this I can get rid of. Yes. Okay, but that's really weird, this. Look at the question mark. Whatever. Let's do it. Is this needs to be maybe, yeah. Oh, and then for this I want to get rid of hyphenation altogether because it's just a question. Justification. I think here, like, look at, like, this word space is already, in my eye, this is quite small, and this is 105, so this is the default word space of the typeface. Often also, this is very useful. Adjusting the desired word space is really, really useful if you're typesetting a book in monospace, in a monospace typeface. If you're not too worried about, like, retaining the authentic monospace feel, I often, because in a monospace typeface, the word spacing is really, really big. So with monospace typefaces, I often change the desired to, for example, like 67. So it's 2/3 of the actual, or even 50%. But for Ladna, maybe we keep it like that. Okay, so now we've got this style for the bold. We've got this style for the italic. We've got this for the questions. We've got this for the first paragraph in the answers. We've got this for the second paragraph of the answers. Okay, wonderful. So I think now we've sort of built our styles. I know this proceeded quite quickly. You might have questions about the grep stuff, but we can look at that later. So now what I want to do is I want to typeset I want to import. So okay, where are we? Here. We're here. We've done number 1. So I then make a copy of my InDesign document. I would maybe make a copy of remove all jammed elements and draw a text frame on the parent page. So this is preparing for the text import. So here I wrote this down, that I favor working with the fewest possible number of text frames. This way I don't get errors with overset text. Actually, hey, I forgot. Let's use this. Let's add a paragraph rule here. Let's do this Wolfgang Weingart-esque thing here. So okay, here I want to add a chunky black rule here, or maybe I want to add like you know, a line that goes like this on every question. I'm not sure how authentically I want to do this, but I want to show you how to automate this in InDesign. So I would open this paragraph style. I would go to paragraph rules. I would tap rule on. I would put width, maybe for this is the column. The other option is text, but maybe column is nicer here. And then I would put the offset as my leading. So then the offset would be 11.5 points. So then it pushes it up towards the next baseline. You could put the type size here as well, so 9 points. It would be a bit closer. But maybe let's do the leading. So now we can see that this text is sitting nice on the baseline, and then this is just on the baseline above it. I can also, hold on. Let's say I want this line to go here and then down. So it aligns to my document grid as well. So then I would open this style again, and I would go to paragraph rules, and then I would do left indent. Is it -4? Yes. So my document grid had an increment of 4 in this horizontal direction. So if I do -4, then it goes down. Then for the vertical line, I need to go to paragraph border, and I need to add a border here, but then it's top 0, and it's only left, yes. And then the offset on the left is again 4 millimeters. Top edge is leading. This is it. Okay. And top offset, so I need to do 1 point here. Yes, okay, so the thickness of the thing was 1 point. Bottom, I want baseline. Yes. Okay. Now I've got some rules that automatically like if I make this column this bigger, if I make this like that, it will automatically do this. I don't know if you've ever used this stuff, but I find this somewhat useful. Like this. So now it's automatically in everything. Okay, so what I would do now, I've got my styles set. I would get rid of everything I've done here. I mean, maybe I would, let's save this and let's make a copy because I wrote, let's do a text, the aukeama import, make a copy, then get rid of this stuff, get rid of this stuff. Then, so now I've got this. I'm gonna keep this for now, here for now, even though it doesn't look that good yet, but I haven't touched it, so let's keep it the way it is. And then these are not great. Oh yeah, these I should. Let's put that there. No. Yes. All right, so I've got some page numbers there. Let's copy these page numbers to the parent page, and then I'm going to make a primary text flow onto the parent page. So when I place the text, I don't need to redraw a text frame on every page, right? I think most of you probably know this already. So I'm drawing a big text frame here. I'm threading it. I'm hitting this square here to thread it to this next text frame here. I can also use this view extras text threads. So now I see that they're threaded together. And then I can hit this, click to make this story the parent's primary text flow. Wonderful. Okay, so now this is the primary text flow. Now I can go back here, and you can see on this page, you can see like there's this faint border, so there is like a frame. If I hold down Shift and Command and click here, by holding down Shift, Command, and then clicking, you can access items on the parent page, also on like normal pages. So you can activate parent elements on normal pages by hitting, pressing Shift, Command, and then click. So then I've got, hold on, where did it go? Oh, it went there. So let's get rid of this. No. Yes, okay. So now I've got like this frame is active. I'm gonna select here maybe this, because this is the base style that I want to use, and I'll make sure I don't have any character style selected. Like it's important to also, when you don't have any text frames selected, it's important. Sometimes you accidentally click on a character style when you don't have any text selected. If this happens when you import text, all text will be formatted with that character style, and then you need to re-import it. So it's a good idea not to have in this, like when you don't have any text frames selected, not to have any styles selected as well. So I can, here I see that, okay, I've got Tina and no character style. Okay, so now I'm ready to import my text file here. I'm hitting Command D to place. I'm searching for the file. The file is here. I'm tapping Show Import Options. This is important because this gives me more control over how the text is imported. Then I hit Open. But because I tick the Show Import Options, I get this screen before. I get Microsoft Word import options before I get anything else. The way I was taught to do this was to tick preserve styles and formatting from text and tables, but don't do this because it doesn't work. I'm telling you what I was taught and why it doesn't work. So I was taught to preserve styles and then do customize style import, and then do this style mapping where you map the styles used in Microsoft Word to styles used in InDesign. But to get this to work, the author of the Word file should have used the paragraph styles in Word systematically. In the last 15 years, I've not met a single person who uses the paragraph styles of Microsoft Word systematically. Hence, this never really works. So what I do these days is I do remove style and formatting from text and tables, but preserve local overrides. So I do this. So it removes all the styles. So I don't get any styles I inherit that I could inherit from Word, because often those are like so complicated that it messes up my character styles and paragraph styles. It removes styles, but keeps the formatting. So it keeps the local overrides. So I do this and I click OK. And then it should, yes, okay. So now it threaded all of the text automatically. So you can see that this goes, hold on, it starts on page 7 and it's 1 spread, 2, 3, 4 spreads now. But it looks wonky, right? Actually, I can get rid of this because I already have it on the other side. So this is the text that I need. It looks wonky. And if I look at my paragraph style, I see that it's not marked with any, it's just basic paragraph. But what I do now is, because this still has, because I've not assigned any style to it, it still has the original bold and italics from the original Word file. So what I want to do now is I want to search and replace the italics and bolds and mark them with my character style. So what I do now is I keep the cursor here, I hit Command F to open this, and then so I leave find what and change to completely, they're both completely empty. And then I do find format, and I'm go to basic character formats, and I'm searching for anything with the font style italic here. And then I want to change everything I find where the font style says italic. I want to change those to my character style that is italic, like this. So then it's searching for things with the font style where it says italic here, and changing them to my character style. So now if I hit change all, 20 replacements made, means that, for example, okay, now these show up like this because there's no Times New Roman medium italic, but we'll take care of that in a bit. I can save this search and call it like italic to italic or something, so I can access it later. It's quite useful. But now I'm doing the same thing for bold. So I'm searching for anything with the basic character format bold, and I'm changing it to my bold character style, which is Ladna 8 Ladna black. Yes, okay. And change all, 28 replacements made. Nice. Now that I've made those, it's very difficult for me to lose the italics and bolds again. because they were already marked with my styles. And if I want to change them, I can change them all at once by just changing the style. It's super useful. But what I do now is I select all of the text and I pick like my base body copy style. So then I would pick this, and then I would clear all the overrides. So return this to the base paragraph style, like this. But what happens now? I get sort of weird things are going on because the nested style claimed that it had to be like it had to be this. And actually now this is a special case as well because this is like, yes. So now maybe I'm going to do this. But what I have now is kind of a nice situation because now I don't have any pluses anywhere. I've got no overrides. I've marked my italics and my bolds with my character style. And now what I do now is I kind of compare my InDesign file to the original manuscript. Ideally, I would have a PDF of this because a PDF is always kind of looks the same. And now I apply these styles that I've made to these paragraphs in a way that makes it look correct. So this kind of has to be done manually. I've not figured out because the styles from the manuscript to InDesign never quite map perfectly, but this is still like, to me, the best way to do this. So this. So hold on, this is Tina, yes, but oh yeah, then I need to add these tab characters. Yes. Boom. So already here you can see like that there is space here, 2 lines. There's 2 lines here. I'm not sure why it's not adding them there. Yes, okay. Okay, Tina, Juho, Tina, but tab missing, Juho, tab missing, tab missing, tab missing, Juho, tab missing, indent. But this is, to me, this is still quite quick. I don't know how you guys feel about this. Like, I know there are people who want this text import to work flawlessly, but I've not managed to do that. And now maybe I can later on, if I'm starting to get the feel that the original layout was, as Tuukka was saying, a bit too convoluted or clever for its own sake. And I don't really feel like doing the multiple text frame thing because that proved a pain. So maybe I'm just gonna dial this back a tiny bit. So and work with like keep everything in a single text frame, but work with some indents and some white space to make this more rhythmic. But let's figure this out after I've done this layout. But you're true, who said it was that I'd get into problems with like really long questions and short answers, for example, but I think that is the case. Yeah, no, with this style, but like looking at this now, I think it would have been the case with the other style, with the 2-column thing. Or the corner. It's okay, and then this is and then I guess this we can get rid of. Okay, so now it's a nice corner, but I think I want to indent this further. So I want to do this thing where hold on, let me do Juho and then indent. let's get rid of this right indent and then do left indent. Let's do, I can do 64. Where does that go? Oh, that's too much. Maybe 48, but I know that I'm using multiples of 4 and 8 here. Okay, that's what I was looking for earlier, right? So let's do that. There's extra word space, but now I have to move these to the left. So paragraph rules, left indent should be +44. I want it as 36, and then this I want there. Okay, that wasn't so difficult because I made it into a system. If I had drawn these lines with the pen tool, it would be much more, I don't know, arduous. And then I think here I want, for this style, I think I want space before, I want 11.4 points before, so then I get some sort of gap there as well. But now, just with these, like quite automated things, I've managed to make this sort of dynamic layout quite automatically and easily, I think. Here, I think, I don't know, how do you feel? Do you like, are you okay with this question being here and the answer being completely in the different page? I could automate this as well. So if I open this Juho style and do this keep option, keep with next to, then it will automatically jump to the next. So then this style would always be with the following 2 lines of any other style. Oh, and this is a problem as well, right? So I don't like this, that this question is on 2. So then I would have to go back here and go to keep options, keep all lines together. So now I don't have that problem. I do have some problems with some bad breaks here and there, but let's see where but I'm quite happy about where we are in terms of what the layout kind of looks like. I think there's some sort of a rhythm here. Where were we in terms of this? Yes, text. So this is what we did. After placing the text, I search for font style italic and change it to my italic character style. I then do the same for bold. This way I can remove all overrides from the text in order to return it to the base body copy style without losing bolds or italics. So yeah, I continue by comparing my InDesign document to a backup PDF of the manuscript and applying all other paragraph styles. I did that. Okay, footnotes. Shall we take a look at footnotes? Or, hold on, what's the time? Let's take a look at some of these orphans and widows first, or these bad breaks and finish punctuation first, because that's easier to do. With the footnotes, I kind of have to, like, I don't know, invent them from somewhere. So, okay, if I want to get rid of, for example, I don't like this, there's too much energy flowing here. The chi is not balanced, you know? I would like either more words on this line, or I would like to get this line on fitting on the line above it. So what I would do is I would triple click this paragraph to highlight it, like this. Then I would hold down Option and try to decrease the tracking 1 unit at a time. So hold down Option 1. Okay, that did it. But then I have some maybe other problems. So I can do this. I can do this plus minus 10 units of an M. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's still fine without actually making any, without it bothering the reader. Or then I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe I would want to do that. And now, because I didn't use tracking in the base paragraph style, I have this situation where all these changes I've made in terms of tracking are very quickly visible, like here. If I return to this after, like, I don't know, not working on this for a week or a couple of days, it's instantly recognizable to me where I've changed the tracking. That's beneficial. Another way to get rid of this could be to replace this word space here, the word space between palaudu and yksilön, with a special character, which is called a non-breaking space. So a non-breaking space is a special word space character that dictates that both of the glyphs on either side of that word space have to live on the same line. So I can do this by going to type, insert white space, non-breaking space, or hitting Option Command X on the keyboard. Quite useful. Also quite useful, in Finnish you have to add a word space between a number and, like, for example, the percent sign, because the percent sign is treated as its own word. And you don't want situations where you have 12 at the end of the line and just the percent sign hanging out in the beginning of the subsequent line. So those word spaces you can replace with the non-breaking space. Another thing that I do that is maybe not default is that, so if I do this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, for example, then how do I, if I don't like what I end up with, how do I return it to the base style? Like, I can always open this paragraph style and then click here to clear all overrides. So I can always do this. But I like to be able to work in a way where I touch the trackpad or the mouse as little as possible, and I do everything from the keyboard. So what I've done is I've made a custom keyboard shortcut for this icon, for this clear all overrides. So I have it, you can find it here under, if you go to keyboard shortcuts and then you go to panel menus, and then you go to under P, they're alphabetized, under P, paragraph styles, clear all overrides. And I've made it option A, so like that. So now I have a special keyboard shortcut to clear all overrides by hitting option A. What this allows me to do is I can, for example, here, I can select everything with Command A, and then I can hold down Option and change this tracking how much as I want. And then I can, if I don't like what I end up with, I can just hit Option A to return it to the base style. Option A is also quite good because if the style is already at the base style, hitting Option A will insert the apple. Oh, in this typeface, it's a pig. An apple pig, like a funky character here. Like if there's no pluses anywhere, if I hit Option A, it inserts this character. In quite many typefaces, it's an Apple logo. But this is a nice character to accidentally insert because it's instantly visible. It's not like you know about this thing of accidentally typing in the W or the T into InDesign text. But this is much more conspicuous, visible than a W or a T. So this way, I'm able to work really fast with this, like tracking, and then going back to the base style. And I just can, like, my left hand stays put, my right hand stays put. Okay. Finnish hyphenation. So this has got, InDesign has got the Finnish dictionary there, but in order to hyphenate things in the best possible way in Finnish, there are a couple of things that it doesn't know how to do. So Finnish has lots of compound nouns. So compound nouns we want to hyphenate at their like junction, you know. If like this is a keinutuoli, rocking chair, spelled in one word, but then it should be hyphenated between rocking and chair. And then words with double consonants ought to be hyphenated at the double consonant syllable. There's always like a syllable gap between a double consonant, like katto. And there's like a kind of a glottal stop there. So the hyphen should sit there. And then it's technically allowed to hyphenate things between two vowels, like runo, us, but nobody likes it, so it's best to delete those by hand. So what you can do is you can add these other special characters in your layouts called discretionary hyphens. Discretionary hyphens are hyphens that hyphenate, that force the word to be hyphenated at the position they're inserted in when the words are hyphenated or when they're in the hyphenation area. So we can see that I removed all the hyphenation from these questions, right? But because of that, and because these have some quite long words, we end up with like shit rags, right? So we can make these rags a bit better by inserting some hyphens here. So for example, here I might hyphenate kotimaiseen, means domestic or national. So I'm gonna hit Shift, Command, and hyphen. Does it? It doesn't want to hyphenate that. At least now, if I put the hyphenation on, it will hyphenate it at that point. And then if I don't want it to hyphenate something, I can add the discretionary hyphen at the beginning of the word. So if I don't want it to hyphen this parhaisemmossa, I can add the discretionary hyphen at the very beginning of the word, like this, so it doesn't hyphenate that. And do it there as well. But it's not exactly better now, is it? No. So maybe this was actually, maybe I don't want to hyphenate here. Maybe I want to get rid of this. And maybe I want to hyphenate. Maybe I want to move this one down. Maybe that's better. Jossa yksittäiset. But sometimes this gets quite difficult. Okay, that's, I can live with this now, I guess. Can you live with this? No. Daniel, you want this to be like long line, short line, long line, short line, long line, short line.
Yeah, that's how I learned it. Like if we were told when you ever do
rag
lines, it has to follow the wave line. If you just do it by random, don't do it. But it was also a Swiss teacher, so it was very keen.
So in terms of the broad strokes are that there are two sorts of styles when it comes to ragging. This applies to all languages. There's the soft rag, also often referred to as the Dutch rag, so which is basically to let it flow as close to the edge as possible. So then the softness refers to the fact that there's not that much change between a long line and a short line. So I think this would be a Dutch rag. If you're interested in quality examples of Dutch ragging, you can go to oasejournal.nl and like see how they do the typesetting, or how Carol Martens does the typesetting. Because it's nice because you can see actually like the layouts as well. Is it working? Why isn't it working? In some of the older issues, at least, you can see how it's actually made if the website would work. Can you not get the PDF? You used to be able to get a PDF from here. Anyway, then there's the other option between other option in addition to okay, you got it. Other option to the soft rag is the hard rag or the Swiss rag, where you have long line, short line, long line, short line, long line, short line. That's, you can do it in German quite easily because you can decide where to hyphenate in German. It's much more difficult, or like it, but there's long words. But in English, it's very difficult to get like the hard rag to work well.
Finnish?
Maybe. But here, like for example, I think in Finnish, if you the thing about the Swiss rag, it is that it looks very nice, but it takes lots of time and lots of effort to get it done. And we're living in a world of limited resources, and the time you put in ragging your text is time away from other like things, not in your life, but in your layout, you know. And sometimes I don't know, I think it's a question of what you want to optimize. But I've also heard from Swiss designers that Swiss ragging is like sort of a levy or like a protection against the whims of the client. Like if you've settled on a typeface and you've ragged something really well, and then the client can't ask for you to change the typeface or the typesetting any longer because you've already ragged it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But in Finnish, I would say that more important than the shape is is readability. So päinvastoin, we want to. But then I get this problem with painottunut, so maybe I want to put that there. Okay, then maybe this is too long. Yeah, okay, now it's getting somewhere. But sometimes it's also, you can just change the spacing a bit. But I think I'm okay with this now. This is okay. This is okay. This is okay. This is not okay. The on, it's better now.
So that's a commas in there.
Yes, but I kind of like the way the commas look in this typeface. What is this square? Oh, it was just that thing.
I know that the hard
Kokonaisdramaturgia.
I'm more surprised at the hard rate in Switzerland. I don't know if there's maybe a pride to it, but also like every 4 times a year they have their referenda, and they are all set this way. I don't know if it's
the referendums.
Like Switzerland has four referenda, like dates for referendums a year, and you get a booklet to inform you about the elections, the plus and the minus, who says what. And by post, and for them it's a really pride. It's all typesetting. It's very traditional Swiss typographic manner. For me, it's crazy.
If you didn't use it for that, what would you use it for?
Yes.
The national identity thing.
But then I was explaining this same stuff like ragging and like hyphenating things properly to the last people who designed Tuli and Savu, and like it went well, but in the next meeting they were like, okay, after you explained this to me or to us, I went to Akateemin and Gaudeamus, and I went through all of the Finnish books, and none of the books published. So Gaudeamus is the Helsinki University publisher, so none of those books have it correctly. If nobody pays attention to this or nobody cares about this, why should we
do it? Yeah.
And that was a good question. I mean, I wasn't exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you want a cup of coffee, you can just put Nescafe in a cup and hot water from the tap on top, or then you can make it really, really elaborate. And there's like a spectrum of coffee options in between. Let me show you some quickly some footnote formatting options. Yeah. Okay. So okay, let's do. I'm gonna insert this other text here. I'm just gonna use the same layout styles now, but this text has footnotes, so you'll see what you can do with the footnotes. So do remove. Okay, on yes. And then let's do the same thing. Find bold, change, and then find italic, and then change to italic, change, yes, done, and then how many pages? This is probably quite many pages. And then I'm just gonna now use this Tina indent because it hasn't got any nested styles. So can you notice that I've got these like extra double spaces? Or I've got like these here. Oh, actually, I can hold on. Let me do this. Get rid of this. Yes. Okay. Looking better. There's an automatic way for me to get rid of them. I can do. I can do Command F. It's saved here. Remove trailing white space. Change all, and it's gone. There's also a very useful multiple space to single space. So if somebody's hit spacebar twice, it will get rid of that. But okay, I want this. Okay, this is, let's get rid of the headline because we're not going to pay attention to it now. Okay, this is, let's do this. What happens if I do this? Yeah, we can do that. It's a quote. Then this is, I'm just applying some options now here. Okay, so I think maybe these, hold on, let's get rid of this. Okay, so now we're at that. Okay, so this is, we've got these footnotes here at the bottom. This is what InDesign did. It just inserted the footnotes at the bottom. They don't look very good yet. So, and I haven't got a style. So they're under basic paragraph. There's no, hold on, this shouldn't be. Should there be?
Did you format the
Yes.
footnotes in the document before?
Sorry?
In the document that you imported, you put it just manually.
No. So this is a. Sorry, what do you mean?
Well, no. Could you also automate when you import something that it detects the footnotes, or you have to do it manually?
You have to do it. It's kind of funky. You have to do it. So you have to do it here. So document. You have to go to type, document footnote options. And here go to footnote formatting, paragraph style, and here you can do a new paragraph style. So I'm gonna do, let's do 7.5 by 9, for example, Marist footnote. So let's do Marist regular 7.5, 9. Let's do medium, and then finish, indents. No, don't stick to those tabs. We're gonna keep this 8 tab thing. No rules. Keep all lines together. Hyphenation. Don't hyphenate because it's a footnote. Let's do 105. Let's do 110 because it's a. And then let's space this out a bit more. So let's do 6 and 4 and 2. Drop no grep styles for now. And then do proportional old style. Okay. So now I've got, like, I made a quick paragraph style for the footnote, but now I still, okay, now it reformatted everything into that, but there's still these overrides, right? So here, so now I have to get rid of these overrides, and for some reason I have to get rid of these overrides each footnote at a time, which is slightly annoying. So because I can't like select all of them. And now I see as well that like maybe here this is not ideal. That maybe I want to change this indent. So I want to do 8 and -8. So now this looks better, right? There's this horrible rule there. I want to get rid of the rule. I mean, I use these rules here, but I don't like this rule. So that for that, I have to go back to document footnote options, and I have to go here and put rule off. These are also important. So minimum space between first footnote, I would put this as 11.5 points. So the same, the one baseline increment, and then first baseline, I would do cap height. And then what's going on here? Minimum space between footnotes. What's going on here? Why did it do this? This is interesting. Documents, footnote options, layout. If I do this, cap. Is this leading? Okay, so maybe let's keep that as leading. but do 11.5 points here. That's weird. Okay, let's do that. Oh, it's because they're not sticking to the baseline. Good. Okay, and then I don't want to allow split footnotes. So a split footnote is a footnote that begins on one page and then moves to another page. I find that distasteful. So I want to do that. And here these are like, I have to do this by hand. So this is also another reason why it's good to have a keyboard shortcut for clearing overrides. But if I wanted to have these footnotes, for example, in 2 columns, which would make sense, it would give me a nicer line length, right? Because now the line here is like 110, 108 characters, so that's not optimal. If I wanted to have these in 2 columns, I couldn't do it. I'm not able to do it without using scripts. InDesign is horrible in terms of how it allows you to format footnotes. So without using any scripts, the only way to format these is to play with the indents. So for example, I could, if this has been indented 48 millimeters on this side, so I could maybe this style, I could indent the same amount from the other side, like that. So then I would get this. But then I get like this bigger gap. But now my line length is kind of improved. Another thing is that here for now, these look wrong, right? I can do this where I go back to document footnote options. For some reason, it says apply superscript, but it hasn't applied superscript. Sometimes it does this, but I would do apply normal, and then I would create a new character style for it. So this way I have complete control over how it's done. And I would even nowadays do it, so let's call it superscript. Before I would do here, I would do case, position, do superscript. But that's not really perfect. What I now like to do is I want to designate this type size myself. So if my footnote was 7, I could see what this looks like. Hold on, no. This looks like 7, yes, and then do a small baseline shift up, so like 3. So then now it kind of lives here. It's actually pretty good, right? If it's supposed to align with but maybe, so because it's so small, maybe I want this to be medium. So now it's slightly darker. It's better.
It fits more into the baselines of main text.
So this way I've got complete control. This looks weird. Oh, because it's the wrong typeface because it's in this. So then maybe here I need to specify that it's ABC Marist. Like that. Okay, but now we've got this. Well, maybe that's what we want. Maybe here, let's do this. Let's make this into it's kind of like he says it. But yeah, this is, so I think this is the best, this is the most I can do to a footnote without scripting. But what I often do
is resort to scripting.
Yes. So these are the side notes. Let's figure out. These are the side notes. I don't want the side notes, but I want footnotes and columns. I haven't got this actually installed here. I don't know if I should do this script install while recording without practicing it. Maybe we can, because it's already been 2 hours, so maybe we can call it a day and I can do the scripting of the footnotes at the later stage. But yeah, I think this is mostly it. So this is kind of, you can work very, very quickly once you start approaching the layout as like a system, a rule-based system, where your job is to curate a set of rules that automatically generate interesting compositions on spreads. So then when you're doing layouts, you don't have to start each spread by trying to figure out, okay, what gimmick should I add to this spread? You're sort of following rules that you've made yourself that automatically generate stuff that you find interesting or pretty. And then your job is to fine tune those rules or that system of rules vis-a-vis your intended outcome. But yeah, I think we can wrap up for now, I guess. I mean, now I think this display typography is horrendous. I think this needs work, but if I just look at what the body copy looks like, there's some stuff here that I quite like. It's not too far from the first version, but it's, I mean, some things are easier, some things are more like elaborate. Do I have any spaces? Okay, but yeah, thank you very much. I'm gonna end the recording now.